Welcome to How They Do That. I'm your host, Scott Waldron, and here is a little preview of what you're going to hear today.
So I might have that skill set, but if I'm teaching something or if the group is oriented around a topic that I'm not that interested in, it's not going to be fun for me. For a lot of high performing people, they don't let the guard down because they don't actually trust or respect that the other people around them can handle it. Setting real expectations, if I were to paint a picture of this, a mastermind is like me sitting around a campfire or a round table, and I just happen to be facilitating. But those teaching calls are me in front of a classroom. And I think what happens, especially in the online world, is that these two things get blended and mixed.
Y'all know I work hard to get good guests on this show. And a lot of them have come from my own community, but a lot of them I have been following for years. And Mike is one of those people. And we stumbled upon each other again just because of some contacts I had, and we accidentally knew the same people. And Mike was one of them. And Mike was so gracious as to accept my invitation to be on this show. I have followed Mike since the 2000 teens, and he has helped me so much in my business and what I have done personally. And I know he's going to help you do that as well. And if Mike is the master of anything, he is the master of community. That dude has built communities. He has led communities. He has been part of communities, and he is going to share a little bit of that wisdom with you. These are, low investment communities up to high investment communities, aka masterminds. And we're going to talk about those a lot on this show. Mike Kim, he's a brand strategist for business thought leaders, coaches, and authors who want to create impact with their ideas and get their messages heard. Mike's refreshing approach has made him a sought-after speaker, online educator, and consultant for top thought leaders. Mike's clients include New York Times bestselling authors and other experts, including who have been featured on PBS, TED, CNN, and Fox. Mike has been featured in and written for Inc., Entrepreneur, and the Huffington Post. He's a 3-time best-selling author. Own Your Brand, Own Your Career. He wrote that with Andy Storch. His first book, You Are the Brand, was a Wall Street Journal and US Today bestseller. And he has spoken at multiple conferences. That's where I actually ran into him in person. Social Media Marketing World, Tribe Conference, Podcast Movement. And he's been a guest on Smart Passive Income, Entrepreneurs on Fire, and Read to Lead. So he's been out there, y'all. He is definitely a force to reckon with in the marketing, branding, and community. And he has done a lot, and he's going to do a lot for us here today. Here we go. Mike Kim, I've been waiting all my life to talk to you, man.
All your life? Okay.
My whole life.
I'm honored, I think. I'm also concerned, and I want to tell you to go enjoy your life. But yes, so thank you.
No, man, I've had some great guests and people that I've followed for a long time, and you are definitely one of them. Just your wisdom. I mean, coming from the copywriting world into the marketing and branding world, and doing just all the stuff that where my background, where I came from, and I've just followed a lot of your stuff for years and never stopped. And it's just, it's because you provide the good stuff. And that's why I'm so excited to have you on, because I hope that everybody else will be able to hear the good stuff and then join in to the good stuff.
I will try not to disappoint. You've set me up to fail, but no, I'm just kidding.
High bar, Mike. Yeah. High bar, man. I'm going to hook my audience, because as you copywriters know, that's a very important thing. We connected in person for the first time in the bathroom.
Yes.
So
I do remember that.
You do remember that was creepy. No, I'm just kidding. It was just, we were at a conference together, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's Mike. I'm going to talk to him. And then you were so gracious to share a lunch with me after that. And we talked a little bit. I bet you didn't know how short I was in person. Well, there you go. Or maybe you're just really tall, Mike.
I think I'm just tall.
That's what it is.
Yeah, because people only see this. But yeah. No, I remember that. And it's time flies, which is incredible. But I sort of look at that as a good thing now, because I used to be really impatient about getting things done. And now I'm like, time flies so fast that I'm like, okay, if I just set these things in motion before I know it, it will have ripened. So that was a long time ago. I think that conference was definitely before COVID.
Yeah.
So
it was pre-COVID. So it's pre-COVID. Well, we're going to talk about community today because, man, you have built so much of it and you've done this repeatedly. And I'm so intrigued at how you do this. I mean, I told you when we got on the call, probably from like 2017-ish time frame, I had heard you talk about having dinners and building masterminds and online communities and all types of things. And I'm just like, what? How did he do that? Hence the name of the show. And so I want to have you on to talk about that a little bit. I mean, for you, what does community mean?
That's a great question. To me, it means a place where people can really just be themselves. One of the rules that I have in my mastermind, which is probably the highest level community, I've known some of these people for over 10 years, which is kind of crazy. People go in and out and things like that. But when I look at the numbers and I look at the data and I look at the longevity, these are people who have been around me and my world for a really, really long time. And I think you can perform for a little while, and after a while, you can't. You just got to be yourself. Otherwise, it gets exhausting on both sides. So one of the rules that we have in our group, there's no such thing as bragging. We want you to tell us about your wins. We don't want you to gatekeep it. We don't want you to shy away from sharing what's going really well. And as a result of that, on the other side, people have been very, very vulnerable about really big life changes going through their life. I used to joke that I feel like I just offer emotional support groups for entrepreneurs, but that's what we all need. And for a lot of high performing people, they don't let the guard down because they don't actually trust or respect that the other people around them can handle it. Like there has to be a level of respect. Like I respect what you've done. I respect how you show up. I respect how you have grown in your self-awareness. And so when they see that, that's like the first filter that allows them to start to open up. And that takes time. But at the end of it, at the end of the day, they stay because of each other. They first come into a community because they might learn something, or they might feel like I have an answer or can provide some clarity for something, or they just don't want to work with me one-on-one. So they'd rather just be in a group and try to get around me. But that doesn't last very long. Maybe 2 or 3 months at the most. And then they've got to really jive with the other people. So what I really try to do, man, is create a space where people can really be celebrated and seen, acknowledged, valued, held. I know that's a weird word to use, but we've had some really, really tough situations with people through the years, losing a loved one, going through a divorce, like real life stuff. And when you can talk about that, business just becomes one of the things that you bring up on a call. We get together for business, but I work a lot with solopreneurs and coaches and speakers and experts as you do. And you know that your work is just an extension and outflow of who you are. We're not selling Q-tips. We're not like distanced from our product or our service. Like we are the product and the service. So to create a space for people to feel like they can be themselves and share the wins and the hard times, it's just been an incredible forge for these relationships. Yeah.
So you've been doing this for a decade and you've had really good success. You've had 80% retention year over year with your clients, and this community's got to be part of that. I mean, because here's the thing is when we just create transactions, it's kind of, you're pricing yourself to the bottom. It's just kind of like, it just becomes that. But when you're providing an emotional connection, as we understand, like in brand strategy work, I mean, when you connect emotionally with somebody and you provide the value on the back end of that emotion and you deliver the promise, people become loyal and, they'll pay the price because it's an investment in themselves and in the relationship.
Yeah. One of the best compliments I got recently was from one of my newer members. And she said, I love your mastermind. I've been in tons of them because you actually treat it like a mastermind. Because most masterminds, it's a great marketing word, but most masterminds are just teaching calls. Like people don't really get to know each other. People don't even get to know the person who's leading it. It's a group teaching call. I have group teaching calls, but I call them group teaching calls. Like I have a membership. Like it's much less of an investment. I'm teaching more than I am connecting with them. And I'm very clear about that. I'm like, look, I'm here to teach you what I know. You are responsible to take action. And if you have questions, you can hop on the second call in the month. But I'm not doing one-on-ones with you. That's a different type of engagement. So setting real expectations, if I were to paint a picture of this, a mastermind is like me sitting around a campfire or a round table, and I just happen to be facilitating. But those teaching calls are me in front of a classroom. And I think what happens, especially in the online world, is that these two things get blended and mixed, or the leader is mixing them up, or the person who's taking the program mixes up. They also have a false expectation. Well, I joined this little membership crew and I'm expecting to get to know the leader of it. I'm like, no, you don't. This is like a college lecture hall. There's 100 people on a Zoom call. I went to a college that had way too many students. I went to a state school in New Jersey at Rutgers. My smallest class, like especially for like general ed, like all the like normal like prerequisites and stuff, there were like hundreds of people. You were on your own. You had to get in study groups and figure it out. And as you know, you go through school and you pick a major, the classes get smaller because they're more specialized. And I came from an education background as well. So I understand like the different positioning. So that's really important. I'm really clear with my people, like in my mastermind. I'm like, look, this is for you to get to know other people, not just me. This is not pay Mike to be my friend and sit around with, 12 other people. What you're going to get out of it is if you show up to the retreats and if you show up on the calls and with the same kind of energy as if it was your group. And I'm not promising you that I'm going to platform you, that I'm going to get you leads, that I'm going to connect you with people. If it's natural and it makes sense, then I'll do it. And I always do if it makes sense. But I'm pretty clear about the rules of engagement. And I think mature people appreciate that.
That is, I hear so much clarity and differentiation. I think it just comes with your experience. Like maybe at the beginning you meshed them up too much and you found that you got burned by it. You had the wrong people in the wrong groups, and you weren't able to deliver on the thing they expected. Then there was disappointment, and we don't want that. So when I sit there and I just hear so much clarity and like very intentional about what you're doing and how you're creating the groups, because I've thought about these groups too myself and creating them and how do I provide so much value. And I'm really concerned about providing value to these groups so that they want to be part of them and they want to continue coming back. And are they purchasing me or are they purchasing access to this? And why would they choose me over this thing? If I'm not providing value, don't they want my brain power and all the things I know? But I don't know. That's all the stuff going through my head. Do you hear that from other coaches that are and consultants that are trying to either build these groups, or what is other big mistakes that you hear them making?
I get that. And I have been absolutely at that point where I've been worried, am I doing enough? Am I providing enough value? And then over time, you realize that you're being over responsible. And if you are, I try to keep things really simple. I think about it like this. If I had a client like me, the way that I treat my coaches and show up when I hire a coach, I would be really, really happy. Like my coaches think I'm the best student ever. I take action on what they tell me. They share one little strategy from 6 weeks ago and I record it and I meditate on it. I think about it because I paid them a lot of money. And I don't waste time on calls. I get right to it. I come with all like choices. I'm like, hey, I've thought about this. I'm not just asking you what I should do. These are 3 alternatives I thought about. What do you think I should do? And I think about how much money I've invested in myself, how I show up to those engagements. And Skot, I just started to hold my clients to that standard that I have for myself when I show up for other coaches who I hire and in communities that I join. And that just made it really simple. So about a year ago, I told my mastermind, I said, look, I'm dead serious about this. You will write and publish a book before the end of 2026, or I'm not going to have you in my mastermind anymore. I'm like, I've written 3 in 3 years. I want to hang out with authors. I want to hang out with people who understand that process. I want to hang out with people who understand what it's like to go through the hard work of codifying their thoughts into a book, a good book, and marketing it and all the things that happen as a result of it. And so I love you, but I don't want to hang out with people who don't understand that process. This is me. I'm always going to keep leveling up. So I'm going to hold you to that standard. And no one rebelled. No one whined and complained. No one thought I was being elitist. They all are writing their books right now. And it's not a threat. It's no, I'm going to hold you to a standard. I hold myself to that standard. And if this is not a mentorship group, this is not me teaching a class. This is the people that are sitting at a round table with me. That's the kind of people I want to hang out with. I don't make excuses. I grind. I put in the work. And I expect the people that I have around me to do the same. And it's okay if a book is not in your future. If you've already written one, cool, you're safe. But this is all the people who haven't written a book. I'm like, I mean, I love you, but I'm talking about my second or third car and you're still riding a bicycle. This is not going to work well in the long run. So it's not an elitist thing. It's will you step, because I know you have it in you. And so I try to model how I want people to show up. I actually have a really long podcast like from years ago that I specifically made for new mastermind members, which was how to get the most out of your mastermind when you join. These are little things that I've done over the years, and I make everyone listen to it when they join my group for the first time. And so I just, that's just what I do. And man, like more often than not, mature people, and I keep saying that, mature people, they will respect those expectations, those boundaries. You will attract the right people. I've had words with people who are like, hey, why do you keep showing up to Zoom calls 5 minutes late? It's a Zoom call. Like either you block off your previous meeting 15 minutes before this call or don't come, because it's sending a signal that I'm okay with that. And that's what you and the rest of the group pay me for. You pay me to make sure that when you go on that Zoom call, it's the one pocket of time you have every month where people are pulling you forward and lifting you up and pushing you further, not, oh, let me just show up and share all my frustrations and vent and vomit over how annoying my clients are. But I don't want that energy. And I've told people, hey, you're really depressing. You got to show up and get with it, or you're not in this group. I'm not your dad. I'm not your basketball coach. I'm not your football coach. You made an agreement. Like one of the questions that I have on my questionnaire is, what do you think you can contribute to this group? And if they don't have good answers, I'm like, all right, I'm not even going to take the interview. So I think people want that, man. Like you've been in business for yourself for a long time, and you have grown over the years, and the way that you learn has changed. I'm absolutely sure it has. We don't even need to talk about it. I don't need as much hand-holding as I've had in the past. But when I talk to somebody and I work with them, or I'm in a community, I expect that community and that person to hold me to a standard that is higher than what I operate at. That's what I need to see model. I don't need to just hear what they have to say. I want to see how they operate. And that's a lot of what I've learned through the years. I've worked with really, really smart coaches, advisors, community leaders, and I'm not just looking at what they say. I'm like, how do they carry themselves? How do they show up? I have one coach I worked with, one advisor, more like an advisor. It was $5,000 a month, and it was almost all asynchronous. Like, we didn't do Zoom calls. I maybe interacted with him 3 or 4 times a month, just sending him Slack messages. Man, I tell you, you can count on 3 things: death, taxes, and that guy responding within 24 hours. It was super impressive. Even on weekends when I knew he wasn't working, he just would get back to, I'm like, you know what? This is really inspiring. The way this guy is showing up, like, I've got to elevate my game. So it's those things that I think people don't really notice about what it takes to run a community. I think most people hear the word community and they're like, oh, great, 100 paying people for just the same 1 hour of my time. And they treat these people like numbers or like cattle. So I've been willing to sacrifice bigger groups for the sake of getting to know the people who are in my communities. I feel like I know the people in my communities. I know some a lot better than others, but I don't think any of them would say, I've never talked with Mike one-on-one, even in my little $97 a month community. Like, I will always add bonuses. I will always add, if you commit to 6 months, let's hop on a half-hour call. And so if they do that, and I don't upcharge for it, if they do that twice a year, they're spending an hour with me. And if they show up on the calls, they know I know who they are. And that might not scale, but you know what, man? Like, I look at what's happening with AI right now and how that's affecting so many businesses. And my business has gotten better since AI came out, because I've always operated this way. Some don't want to do that. They would rather scale for the sake of having numbers and all that sort of thing. But I've never had, in over 10 years, I've never had a bad year in business, knock on wood. And it's because I've just been able to understand that I'm more wired to dig in the dirt with people. I'm like the coach at a small school. You know, I mean, that's kind of, yeah.
I hear that. I mean, I hear this like willingness, I hear the desire to want to get into the dirt with people, right? Like, to get into it because you want that. So I hear you also, a big thing I'm hearing too is like, bring in people that will push you as well as the moderator, right? As the host of this mastermind or this community. Bring in people that will challenge you. Bring in people that are like-minded in the sense that, you know, you're driving a car, your third car, you don't want people driving, riding a bicycle. It's like, that's great, you're riding a bicycle. I love that you're learning to ride a bike, but we're just at different levels and different places in life. And we really need to, I want to make sure I'm hanging out with people in my group that are going to push me as well. And so I think that is really critical, just to not like let anybody in for the sake of just a number, but really being intentional about who you let in and how you let them in and what kind of people they are. Let's talk about this real quick. Let's pivot to how you structure your groups. You've done this many, many times. What is kind of your formula that you use that works for you? I mean, it may work for other people, but I mean, for you, how do you steer people when they're building communities like this?
Yeah, groups. Well, it'll depend on the kind of group it is, right? So if it's a peer group, if it's a mastermind, that's a different type of energy than teaching calls, right? But more often than not, the most often I will meet is every 2 weeks. Every week is just too much. I don't want to talk to anybody in every week. Like, there's no unless it's my team and we're actually executing. There's no real reason to. If I get a piece of advice from a coach and then I have to meet with him or her the next week to make sure I implement it, that's my fault. I'm an old man, bro. Like, if I don't have my own accountability and can't get my own things done at this age, I don't deserve to have a good business. Like, if I'm motivating a 50-something-year-old or a 40-something-year-old, I'm like, dude, I'm the wrong guy. Like, that can't be taught. You either have it or you don't. You either feel like your business or your dream is important enough to move forward on your own or not. I do not want to solve existential problems, like help you discover the meaning of your life. Like that might unfold as you do it through the channel of your business, which will make you face your fears. But that is not, I'm here to help you with your business. And if things unfold as a result of that and things happen in your life, great. But I don't need to meet with you every week. That's not necessary. Like, you should take what we talk about and run with it. And the mastermind's like that. I used to do it every week, like way back 10 years ago when I first started. And it was great. You get to see people, but after a while, like, all right, so give us an update. Well, it's only been a week, so I didn't really execute. So it kills the momentum, right? But the mastermind is different because it's a smaller group and they have to show up. I mean, I tell them, if you miss a call and don't tell me what's going on, first, I'm going to assume that you got in an accident or something really bad happened. I'm not going to assume the worst. But if outside of that, if I find out you just blew off the call, you get one more chance and then you're out. So they tell me days ahead of time. Sometimes I got 3 messages yesterday. Hey, I'm not going to make the call tomorrow. I have this client meeting. And I'm just like, great. That's just courtesy. Great. Because their attendance is required. Because it's a roundtable. Like, we're less if you don't show up. So don't look at it like, oh, I get to get out of the meeting. I'm like, no, I'm not bringing what I learned this past 2 weeks to my group so that we miss out. Right now, for the teaching groups, for my membership, we played with this in all sorts of areas because energy to me is really, really important. So what I found is that if I did just a call every 2 weeks, people who were at a more starter level weren't executing as fast. And so then I would get frustrated because no one's doing anything. And so then for about half a year, I switched the model to where we did 6 calls weekly in a row, like as an accelerator on a particular topic, and then 2 weeks off. And that went really well. They loved it. But I was like, why am I doing a call every week? Like, I don't even do that for my mastermind, but I'm willing to do it for half a year. So we did that, and we're back to 2 calls a month now, every other week. That, I think, that kind of community is what most people experience. And I have been in those kind of communities, so I understand some of the challenges, like, what are we talking about this week? Or you have a lot of people in a group and they're all at different levels. And I used to feel like I had to accommodate to all of those levels. And I'm like, well, at this point, no, it's because I have a mastermind and I have so much backlog stuff. Like, if I was in that place as a student or a member, I would go find out how to do this. So I just hold them to that standard. I'm like, guys, I've put everything in here for you to use. You have this whole content bank and you see me every 2 weeks. Bring your questions. But if you're going to ask a question that you could have found in there, then that's fine. But that tells me more about, are you likely to grow and succeed in your business goals or not? That says more to me than you just getting an answer for a question. So I'm always reading people, whether they realize it or not. The people in my mastermind, I'm sure I've said something like this, but I told them all, like, look, I had a lot of impressive people fill out an application, but I chose you because you're interesting and you have a skill that I think would benefit me. Like, I want a doctor in our mastermind. I want an attorney. Like, if it comes down to you as an attorney and another coach, I'm taking the attorney. I feel like it's like the Avengers. You're just trying to put together a team. And that, when I tell them that, they can see how I'm seeing the group. So again, it's not for everybody. I realize that, like, I have that kind of experience from earlier things in my life. I did a lot of music, and you got to put bands together. It's just like stuff that I've had to do, navigate. Like, the drummer hates that guitar player. They just do not get along because they're both egotists. But they play really well. How do I manage their emotions, or how do I manage this dynamic? So I feel like that is a sixth sense that I have. but there are very, very clear reasons why I make some of these choices. Yeah.
Okay. So there's, this is really good. How do I know if I'm one of those people? How do I know if I'm a community guy versus you should probably not start a community because it really requires this kind of stuff. And if you don't like that, then you're not going to like the community aspect of stuff. So, how do I know if I should be starting one or not? Because I hear everybody's like, oh, they're great. Builds loyalty. You get in front of people. Like there's a lot of benefits to it. With the group teaching calls, you can scale it. With the mastermind, you get intimate and you can learn from each other. There's, but how do I know if I really want to do that or not?
My first answer would be join one and see how that is. Like the best thing that I did before I started my mastermind was to join one. And it was a high level one. And I saw what I liked and I saw what I didn't like. I saw opportunities that this group didn't have. And I saw things that they were doing that I didn't feel like were necessary. So that's one thing. I don't think I've ever really met anyone who has run a good community that was never a part of one, even if it was a bad one. You just learn a lot more. So you take what you like and what you don't like and factor that in. The second thing is, do you have an ability? Do people just naturally want to be around you and gravitate towards you? Like, are you good at making friends? Do you like being in small, intimate groups where you have deeper conversations? Some people don't. Some people really don't like that. They might not be that contemplative. They might not be that deep of a thinker. I'm thinking about all the internet marketing bros, and crypto guys, right? Like I know a lot of people like that. And I'm like, I just take them for what they are. Some of them are friends, but in small doses. And they are made for that level of interaction. So you have to figure out what your level of like if you look at your friends group and you look at the kind of conversations that you like to have with some close friends, like not just like friends from your past, but like real forward growth oriented friends, right? Do you read a lot? And do you have friends who read a lot? Do you talk quickly? Do you get to the point quickly about really deeper issues when you talk with your friends? So that'll tell you something. And if you're able to aggregate those people together, then you'll probably be okay at running a community. Like, do you like putting dinners together where people come together? Even if it's on your birthday, you're like, I want to invite like 15 of my closest friends or whatever. And that gives you a lot. The third thing I would say is, do it for a short amount of time and test it out. Like there's a lot of reasons where you as a facilitator or leader could either enjoy a community or not enjoy it. So for example, I enjoy communities, but they have to be the right people and it has to be the right topic. So I might have that skill set, but if I'm teaching something or if the group is oriented around a topic that I'm not that interested in, it's not going to be fun for me. So I have a friend, good friend. She's involved in the art and the fashion world. I have zero interest in that. So, hey, I'm doing something. It's February right now. We're recording this. And like, hey, we're doing a thing at New York Fashion Week. Do you want to come out? We've got a dinner. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I have zero interest in meeting artists and people from the fashion world. And Miss USA is going to be there. I was like, I literally don't care because I like my friend, but I don't like that world. It's very performative. It's not a topic I'm super interested in. So like, why burn a night? So you've got a couple of different things to figure out. But if it's one dinner and they're like, I really want you to come. Yeah, I can tolerate that. But not once a quarter, not once every 2 weeks. So you just start to figure out that sort of stuff, Scott. And like more often than not, you're just digitizing a version of what you would do in real life. That's how I look at these communities. I used to teach after school at an academy for high school students, helping them with their SATs. And I'm like, man, teaching adults who want to be in a room is piece of cake compared to teaching high school kids who are cranky and hormonal and emotional and hate school and don't want to be in an after school program. Like I can do anything. So I have some collective experiences from the past, but it's really, to me, about managing those emotions and that energy, and they've got to give you energy in return. So the mastermind, I would just say, just start with a list. I always tell people who ask me, how do I start? I'm like, come up with a list of 20 people you know in real life, whether from work or from your personal life, that you would actually want to spend time with and have deeper conversations with. And start with that list and write them down, and then invite them and see what happens. I'll close with that one question with this one thing. I remember, like, I held my first event in New Jersey, like, this is over 10 years ago or whatever. My first ever business event. I didn't know what I was doing. And I gave a ticket to everybody in my mastermind at the time. I gave a ticket to people who had purchased an online course from me, like one of my first courses at the time. And then I invited people I knew in real life, like other entrepreneurs who were pretty successful and speakers and blah, blah, blah. And I remember I opened it was a 2-day event, and I opened this and I said, so I decided to do this event because I know a lot of you should meet each other, because I have relationships with all of you in this room. But the only way that would ever happen is if I died and you all came to my funeral. So I'd rather prefer to be alive so I can make some introductions. And they all kind of laughed, because that is definitely my dark kind of humor. And oh my gosh, I mean, some of them are better friends with each other than they are with me now. And I'm happy about that. So yeah, it's just that I'm just doing a Zoom version of it online, and there's some different rules of engagement because of the technology and stuff like that. You know, you start the call, you should be smiling when people come on, you know, don't be mid bite of your taco at lunch or something. But yeah, no, that's really, I just try to look at it real simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, man, so good. Like, just the tidbits of information I've gotten from you here, just like really, and had me thinking a lot. Just contemplating all the things that you've said and how to put it into action. And I really like that actionable insight. That's what I try to do on the show too, is like, how do you just get started? How do you just get the bike moving? Right? Is how do you start to just pedal? And it's like, get that list of 20 people that you would want to hang out with and talk to them about it. Invite them. See if, you know, you can get somebody in there. And I think that's really good advice to just to get started. So let me ask real quick before I ask you my last request is, you do have something for a lot of coaches about intellectual property that I think is really smart. And I want you to share that with my audience, because I think they should take you up on it.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me share this. So I created an assessment. It's a 30-question assessment based on 8 key areas of what it takes to take an idea that you have or a message that you have and build intellectual property around it and sell it, like commercialize it, like sell a keynote, sell a course, sell a mastermind, sell a community, a teaching community of some sort. This includes branding, sales, marketing, it network. And these are questions that I came up with based on 10 years of experience working with people in this industry. Some of it is from my first book, You Are the Brand, which came out years ago and is still selling well, because personal branding is not going anywhere. It's kind of interesting just to see these trends. But even when I was starting out, there was nothing out there that was telling me exactly 1, 2, 3, what I need to build. I didn't need more inspiration or motivation. I just needed someone to tell me, do this, do that, ignore that for now. And that's strategy, the proper deployment of your time, resources, energy, and money. So I built this assessment, and this is not AI written. It is conditional responses based on your scores in those categories. And I wrote every response, and I've tested this hundreds of times, both with my current communities, then with people who paid to take it. So they were really paying attention to it. So we are pretty dialed in, and I'll give you the link here. And this is normally a paid product, but you can use the code Skot, and you can thank Skot for that. Make sure you spell his name right.
Yes.
And it'll knock off the price, right? Yeah. It'll knock off the price, and you can take it. So I'll leave that up for you guys. You get a 39-page custom report on the back end that includes 3 to 5 action steps on each category that you test in. And it's pretty killer.
Crazy,
it's
man.
pretty killer.
That is crazy.
That's my gift to you guys.
I remember when you were mailing out your newsletter. I mean, I was getting your newsletter in the mail, right? We're not talking like the 90s. I'm talking like the 2000 teens, which I thought was a really smart idea. And the content you put in there was so rich. I saved them. I marked them up. I, followed a lot of those. By the way, I still use the subject line. This might not be for you. I know you love that one, man.
Yes, I love it.
I know you love that one. So there's a lot of stuff in there. And everybody, I know that Mike puts out some awesome stuff. So take him up on that offer. My, again, SKOT, right? There's not 2 T's. There's no C. It's SKOT for the code, and you'll get that for free. So Mike, thanks for gifting that to my people. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah. Here's what I always ask to my guests at the end, a word of hope for all of those coaches, consultants out there that are maybe struggling a little bit. Maybe they're just like looking for that next thing. They're just like, what do I do? If they maybe plateaued. What's some words of hope, inspiration for those people?
I would say wisdom. You need to share your wisdom. We've lived through an economy here. Like, we had the advent of the knowledge economy, like when you and I first started to get online. And if you shared what you knew, that would differentiate you. Like, I don't think people realize how novel that was. Like, all the experts in the world are like, why would you give away your secrets or share your know-how? And as the internet and social media have grown, we definitely moved into the attention economy. Sharing what you know is normal now, but can you get eyeballs, right? Can you make a video go viral? Everyone talks about this right now. The attention economy, how many views can you get? How many followers do you have? How many subscribers do you have? As if these metrics really mean anything. You can buy a lot of followers. Where we're going right now, I think, is an economy of meaning, of wisdom, of trust, which is good news for those of us who don't like to have millions of followers anyway. So my advice to all of you coaches is you need to share your wisdom, share the things that, like, I feel like this conversation, Skot, was a conversation we would have in a hallway at an event. It's not something that I would necessarily teach from stage. You just had good questions, right? So if you guys can figure out what does people ask me when we're riding in the Uber together about my business, or what would I ask someone? So when I'm in those situations and I think about my mastermind retreats or conferences that I'm at, or people that DM me and say like, hey man, like I really loved your content, but I have this question about XYZ, about, my life or my business. Those are side conversations. Those are the better conversations. So I just try to make that my content.
That's smart. Conversational, human. I mean, the human part's really important right now too.
Yeah. The real thing, the real thing people are wrestling with.
Yeah. I think there's some real good insight there. So thank you, man. Thanks, Mike, for being on again and sharing your wisdom with us and doing what you do for the community and all the other people. We have some similar friends, and I hear a lot of good things about your groups and the things you do for them. So keep doing it, man. You're rocking it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining me today on How They Do That. If you found this helpful, please rate the show wherever you listen to podcasts. You see, I help you, you help me. That's how it works. Oh, and please do not keep this to yourself. Share the show with a fellow coach who could also use these insights. Keep exploring, my friends. Never stop asking, how'd they do that? Because with every question, you get closer and closer to refining your business and scaling your impact.